guys, I'm PUTSY and welcome back to another weekly vlog. Even though I don't know if I can really call this weekly vlog because at the moment my intention is to film my Monday through Friday this week, so maybe I should call it like weekday vlog or something. I'm hoping that this week will be a little bit more interesting than usual, even though I don't think it will, because as of right now when I'm filming this, my country unfortunately went back to lockdown, has been for the last 2 weeks. The vaccination and everything in my country has been very slow compared to a lot of other countries, which is why the situation here is still kind of critical, which is really sad to be honest, but I'm trying to be positive. Hopefully I can have quite a productive week. I have a lot of editing and paperwork as usual that I need to do, but I hope it will still be interesting, especially since now I incorporate more book content into my vlog, so I have something a bit more interesting to talk about. And for this week's TBR, I have 2 books in mind that I really want to hopefully be able to read or even finish in this week's vlog. The first one is A Sky Beyond the Storm. If you saw my last week's vlog, I mentioned that I was reading An Ember in the Ashes, and since then I have finished that book, the second and third book. I'm not going to talk about what the books are about because I don't want to spoil anything for you, just in case you haven't read any of the book in this series. I'm in love with all of them, but if I have to rate them all, I will give the first and second book 5 stars. Unfortunately, the third book, even though it's still pretty amazing, it's a little bit less compared to the first two, like 4.2 stars, 4.5 stars at most. The dynamic has changed drastically compared to the first two. It's a little bit more war centric, but then after I read all 3 books, I decided to take some time off from the series. I was a bit confused with what's going on in each book. It's just a little bit overwhelming. I think it was a good choice, and now I feel quite refreshed. I'm ready. I cannot wait to finally finish the series so I can move on to different series that I really want to get into. So I decided to pick up An Emotion of Great Delight by Tahereh Mafi. I actually have started reading this one yesterday night and I'm already on page 87, and this book is actually quite short. It only has 245 pages, so I think I will be able to finish this quite fast. This book is about a girl named Sadie who's a Muslim living in the United States. This took place in around the time after 9/11, I believe, like 2 years or something. So we'll follow along her story. In the aftermath of all of that, her life started to change. Now everyone looking at her quite differently. She faced quite heavy like Islamophobia. Even one of her best friends trying to distance herself from her. Not only that, she's also facing a lot of problems within her family with something that had happened the past year. Everything has changed completely upside down in her life. So we're going to follow along her, facing her struggle, moving back and forth from the present time, but also from the moment when everything started to change for her. The title is quite misleading, and I think it meant to be ironic or something. An Emotion of Great Delight, even though the book is supposed to be very sad. Yeah, it will be exciting. It will be hard to read, but hopefully I will like this. And while we're still in the topic of books, I want to talk to you about audiobook. I personally never finished a book in audiobook form before, I don't think. I cannot work or focus on things without any kind of sound. Listening to music or watching my favorite comfort movie or TV series or YouTube videos, I don't know, like music, sounds and everything center my thoughts and helps me focus, which is why I need to have any kind of sounds in my ears. I mean, even when I read books, listening to ambient music or something like that really helps me focus more into the story of the book itself, helps me read more, helps me enjoy reading more. So yeah, I really want to try audiobooks. So 2 days ago I decided to download Script on my iPad. From what I've heard from a lot of other people, one of the best audiobook is Sadie by Courtney Summers, because it's set up quite like a podcast. So that got me really interested, which is why I decided to start listening to that. And I'm now already on chapter 10 out of 35. I enjoy it way more than I thought. Maybe because of this particular audiobook itself, like I said, it's set up like a podcast, like a true crime podcast, and I love true crime thing, but I just didn't know exactly how dark the story is going to be. But just in case you know nothing about Sadie, Sadie is about Sadie obviously, and she went missing around a year after her sister disappeared one day, and someone found her a couple days later dead near a burning building. It was kind of obvious that she was killed by someone, but she lived in a very small town, and the police don't have a lot of resources to help with the matter. They weren't able to find out who actually did it, so Sadie decided to try to find out for herself. And the story told through multiple perspectives of this guy telling a story about this particular thing through his podcast. So we're actually listening to his podcast with some other characters popping in through like an interview recording, but we'll also get to see Sadie's perspective as these events happening, which makes the story really rich and interesting. The one thing that also very stand out in this audiobook is every single character that were presented in this book have their own voice, different actors and everything. Sometimes I have to catch myself, remind myself that this is not a real story, this is just a book, but it all feels like a real life story because of the way it presented and everything. So I highly recommend it already. I'm really enjoying it. But if you want to read this book, make sure you find out first what the trigger warnings are, because there's actually quite a lot. I didn't know about that at all going in. So yeah, make sure to find out just in case. Okay, I just finished this book, but all I can say right now, that ending, I don't know how I feel about that. I wanted something more. It's a little bit fake, like way too fake for my liking. And now I know why a lot of people also said the same thing on Goodreads. It kind of felt like they chopped off 2 or 5 chapters after the ending, and we lost a little bit information there. But despite the ending, I quite like this book. I think I will give this around 4 stars or something like that. I feel connected to Sadie as a character. I see myself a lot in her. There comes a time when you feel like you cannot really move on. You're stuck in this tiny little box because you have problems from every single corner, every single sides coming at you all at once. But she's the type of person who keep everything inside, who try to bury everything, pretend it didn't happen in the hope that maybe one day it will disappear, you can forget about it. The thing is about feelings is they won't really go away. If you keep them hidden underneath, they won't miraculously disappear one day. It will get easier, but at the same time, if you keep squeeze them all in a tiny little box inside your heart, never address it, never process them, it's like a ticking bomb, and one day you'll explode. And everything at one point did explode for her. They just want to keep everything and pretend like you're okay. Sometimes it can be a good thing, but a lot of the times it can also be a curse for you, for yourself. We also touched on a very difficult dynamic and relationship between family members. It's hard when you feel like you hate someone and their action, but you also care and love for them deeply. That sort of dynamic is also very realistic, happen to a lot of people. Also touch on dynamic about friendship and how sometimes we overlook all the dangers, all the red signs about our friends, and constantly try to make us feel bad when they have some jealousy towards us. And I was kind of expecting maybe this book will be the very first book that can make me truly cry, but I didn't. But yeah, it's a pretty good book in my opinion. There's a lot of things that could have been better, but I did really enjoy a lot of the aspects of the book. Welcome to mini weekly haul. I don't know why I said that, I just thought of that. I thought that would be a good kind of intro for this part of the video, because I just bought a couple of things that might be interesting for a video, but it wouldn't be enough for a whole separate kind of haul video, so I just want to put it here in my vlog. I have 3 items to show you guys. If you have watched any of my vlog before this one, I've mentioned this a couple of times already. I've been having some trouble with my neck and shoulders for the past few months. I believe since February this year. It's been very painful, uncomfortable. It's annoying to say the least, because I went to see a doctor 3 times already and it hasn't really resolved anything yet, and I don't know what to do with it. Since in my country we're still in a lockdown, I cannot really go, or even to see a doctor I felt a little bit wary, so I might need to wait for a couple more weeks to see a doctor and hopefully fix everything permanently. But for now, while we wait to see a doctor, I decided to pick up a couple of things that I thought might help for my neck and shoulder pain. This pain is like a constant pain that I felt every seconds of the day. Even sleeping becomes uncomfortable. I kept tossing and turning, finding the best position for my body. I thought it will be good for me to use this. This is a neck massager. I know it's a weird thing. It's a really good quality. Material feels very thick and sturdy. It feels very nice, and the massage itself like the right consistency. It isn't too strong, but it's not too mild as well. So you put it like this on the back of your neck, and then you put your hand inside to keep it in place, and then you touch this button. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just gonna wait. So it looks like this. It will massage in rotation, and they will change their rotation every few minutes. So now they go like this, and then after a couple minutes they will go like that, and they will automatically change. So you don't really have to think about that or touching any button while you're using it. And this will turn on for 20 minutes because you're not allowed to use it more than that all at once, and they will turn off. See, they just change and rotate to the other way. and it also light up, warm up your body, and it will release even more tension. You can also turn it off, turn it on. I personally like to turn it on because I like the feel of the heat. You can also use this for other parts of your body. You just have to hold them in the right position however you like. You can use it for your waist, your back, your leg even. The only part you can use it for is around your head. You can't because it's a little bit too stiff and too harsh for your head. It doesn't fix anything, it doesn't make all the pain go away, but it will ease the tension to bearable state after I work for hours on my desk, and also it feels quite relaxing, especially at night while listening to some ambient music or while reading books. So if you also work at a desk for hours and hours every single day, you might want to look into this. It's a cheaper option than those chair massager thing, and you can use it anywhere. They also have the charging socket for your car, so you can also bring it if you are planning on have a road trip or something. So yeah, the practicality of it all is also another pros in my opinion. And the second thing I bought in the hope of helping me with my sleeping is this memory foam pillow. Looks like this. I watched an interview of Daniel Ricciardo. He's an F1 driver, and one of his essential things that he has to bring everywhere he goes is a memory foam pillow. They put a lot of force into their neck and shoulder while they race, so when they sleep they had to have a really good quality pillow that support their neck really well while they're sleeping. So I was like, I decided to finally take the plunge and buy one myself. I've been using it for a week now or something, or maybe even 2 weeks, and I've been really liking it. It really does help, really does support my neck. It's actually way more comfortable than I thought. If I don't have any neck tension, I would much prefer something more squishy like I used to, but those standard pillows becomes painful for my body at the moment, so this one is actually been a lifesaver. It really does move and contour to fit in your body shape perfectly. So far it's been a great investment in my opinion. It's totally worth it. And the last thing I have for this mini haul is this puzzle. This is the World of Sherlock Holmes puzzle. It has 1000 pieces. I'm not really a huge puzzle person, but I've been wanting to play this type of puzzle for quite a while now. When I saw this, I was really excited because I also love Sherlock Holmes. Honestly, I haven't watched any of Sherlock Holmes' novel. That's really bad for someone who loves reading, who loves Sherlock Holmes, which is also one of my goals, if not in 2021, maybe in 2022, to finally read the whole series. But I really love watching Sherlock Holmes movie. One of my absolute favorite TV series of all time is Sherlock, that has Benedict Cumberbatch in it. I just love movies with detectives in it. So when I saw this, it's really intriguing. I really like the color and the intricacy of the illustration and everything. It has a lot of characters from Sherlock Holmes book. We have, of course, Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, we have Mrs. Hudson, Mycroft Holmes, even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle also present in this. And all the scenes in this is based on the novel itself. Some of the cases like the Hounds of Baskerville, building of the 221B Baker Street. So while you're building the puzzle, it's also fun to see and to analyze the picture and connect them with the stories. They also include a fold out big poster that have the pictures, and the back of it will explain pictures, the characters and everything, which will be very interesting to read as well. I think this will be the right difficulty for me. The picture looks like it would be nice for a puzzle, you know. It will be hard but not too hard, hopefully. And this will be like my very first adult type of puzzle. My last puzzle that I bought, if I remember correctly, maybe when I was in elementary school or something. I haven't played puzzle, like real puzzle, in a long time, so I'm excited to finally be able to play one properly. But if you want to get one for yourself but you don't like Sherlock Holmes, don't worry, they also have one for William Shakespeare, Jane Austen. They have a couple different author, different theme, but from the same company, like from the same series, you know. But yeah, I'm really excited. and I'm going to give you a little bit of update on the progress I've made with my reading for this week. Like I said, on Tuesday I have finished An Emotion of Great Delights by Tahereh Mafi, and on Tuesday night I finally started reading this one and I've made some progress since then. I'm now currently on page 105, which put me in the part 2 of the book, which is called The Reaping. There's already some indication of what the story will go for this book. There is some hope for my favorite characters, so I'm very excited because in last book it wasn't very good for the relationship that I was rooting for, but in this book I think a lot of the character will find themselves in a better situation. I hope, at least, I don't know, but we'll see. It's still a little bit too early to tell because like I said, I'm only 100 pages in. I also already finished Sadie, I think on Tuesday night, and I'm glad I decided to pick that one as an introduction to audiobook because honestly it was very entertaining. But in terms of the story, I don't think I will like the book as much if I read this in physical form. It's way too predictable and nothing really special about the mystery and everything. It is a little bit hard to listen to at some point after finding out what actually happened with Sadie and Maddie, and the ending is a little bit too fake for my liking, but because of the nature of the story itself, I don't really mind. I felt kind of satisfied with it, but I still kind of hoping to have some more information. At the end, I gave the book a solid 4 stars, maybe even 4.5 because of the audiobook, but if we're strictly talking about the book itself and the story, I think just a solid 3.8 stars. But then after Sadie, because I'm still on a high for audiobook, I really want to get into another one, and now I'm currently listening to Felix Ever After. I'm just getting into it, so I cannot really talk more about it, but so far I really enjoyed it. The narrator is really good in my opinion, even though we only have one voice, can really convey all of the emotion of the characters really quite well. But I will talk more about that when I have listened a bit more into the book. So I think it's time for the final update on what books I've read so far this week, and I think it's safe to say that this was one of the best week I've had so far this year in terms of reading. I've managed to finish 3 and basically started 4, but that has something to do with the fact that I listened to audiobooks and actually liked them. So I finished An Emotion of Great Delight by Tahereh Mafi in a physical copy, and like I said, I also finished Sadie in audiobook. I also started Felix After the other day, and I actually have finished them in audiobook format. I also started A Sky Beyond the Storm, and I'm currently on page 180. I was kind of hoping to be able to finish this one before the next week start, because I really want to make a dedicated reading vlog with different books, but didn't happen. So next week is going to be just another weekly vlog with a lot of reading sprinkled throughout it, just like this week. But I'm still hoping to make a significant progress by Sunday, so when Monday comes, I'm at least already halfway through. At least, I don't know, hopefully I can. I'm getting a little bit slower reading this because I think I'm in a little bit of an overwhelming state. Like I said, I finished 3 books in a week, which was kind of a lot, like really a lot for me, but I'm not really complaining because I loved it. But I'm also thinking this weekend I'm going to take it a little bit slow still with this book, because I don't want to get into a reading slump next week. So just trying to balance everything out. Not a lot of progress in terms of the story and everything that I can report on about this book. I'm still in the early stages of the book, so nothing really crazy happened, even though I already get a hunch of what's going to happen in this book, and I'm super excited. In terms of Felix Ever After, final thoughts on the book is I love it so much. I honestly give it around 4.5 to 5 stars. Like, I genuinely enjoy them, and I think it's also due to the fact that I listen to the audiobook format, even though I do still think I will love the book in the physical form. But the narrator of this book is amazing, honestly. Even though it's just one voice, they are so emotive. The monologue, the dialogues and everything, it's just so good. There was a point in the book where it honestly made me cry, and I think it was really the first time that I cried because of a book, at least this year. There was a lot of monologue and conversation between Felix and his friends about labels, love, about relationships, about their identity and everything, and the narrator managed to convey every single emotion really well. I felt the anger, I felt the frustration, the sadness, the hurt, all the pain. I can feel everything flowing through the voice and reach to my soul. And those parts are really one of my absolute favorite part of the book. Even though I love the love story, I love the friendship, but Felix's conversation with himself and people around him about all of those important topics, about his struggle with his identity as well, is actually my favorite part of the book. It's such an important topic. It's super informational. I thought it was such a great conversation and done really well in my personal opinion. It opened up my mind and my heart even more to this specific topic. But besides that, I also love Felix's character in this book. He is so passionate and I love seeing him grow to understanding that he also deserves love, and he's finally willing to open up himself to receive love in his life. And I love seeing him finally came to term and heal a little bit in the process of it all, from all the pain, all the hurt he experienced in his past. Overall, I just really think it's such a fun, cute, easy, but also important book to read. But yeah, I think that's it for this week's vlog. It was such a productive, kind of hectic vlog. I was just trying to juggle everything between doing a lot of work, trying to be productive, reading a lot, while also trying to take care of myself and my body with all the pain I'm still struggling with around my neck and shoulders. But overall, I think it was a really good week. I truly felt much better mentally compared to last week, and hopefully next week will still be as good, if not better. Thank you so much if you're still watching up to this point. Thank you so much. And if you want to consider to subscribe to my channel, I will be forever grateful for that. And I hope I can see you in my next video. Bye guys.